All right, everyone, I guess we'll get started. All right, well, thank you all for coming. I'm glad you could all join. I hope you're all excited to hear a bit about professional membership. As a quick introduction for anybody who does not know me, I'm Mike DeNoia. I'm the Director of Professional Membership. I've been with oSTEM for a few years now, primarily on the membership team. I also started a chapter at Duke University where I'm currently finishing a 3-year dual master's degree focused on energy. All right, so what are we going to talk about for the next, I don't know, half an hour or so? So I'll go through the agenda real quick. First, I'll give you a quick overview of oSTEM. I would imagine that most of you are probably pretty familiar with the organization at this point, but in case we have anybody new joining who's not familiar, we can talk about that. Next, I'll go into the structure of professional membership and kind of why we're expanding into that area. Following that, I'll cover how to join as a professional member, how to start a chapter, how to maintain a chapter, and then finally, what's kind of on the horizon, what's coming next for professional membership. Some of you may be familiar with this based on if you were attending the conference, but I'm hoping to kind of expand on that a little bit. This is a new effort, of course, so not all of the details are finalized, and I imagine that things will evolve as the organization grows and the world changes and our needs change for sure. Lastly, as I noted earlier, you're all muted, but please feel free to submit any questions that you have in the chat window, and we have a few oSTEM volunteers who will try to answer some of those, or I'll address what questions I can at the end. Okay, so quick little overview of oSTEM. oSTEM started in 2005, as you can see here, kind of to serve LGBTQ students in STEM fields, both grads and undergrads. I think our founders, STEM students themselves kind of saw a need to help foster kind of a safe and supportive environment, that celebrates really the diversity among LGBT folks in STEM and provides kind of, an opportunity to make these people stronger innovators, leaders, and advocates in their communities. In 2009, we were formally founded. In 2010, we gained our 501c3 nonprofit status. As of last year, we had approximately 80 student chapters internationally. So this includes across the pond in the UK and some forming chapters in Canada currently. And then finally, in 2007, we expanded our mission in part to include and serve professionals. So why professional membership? We've focused on academics and student chapters, pretty much until this point, particularly schools in areas that, don't have a lot of support from their community or administration, whether it's because of the, climate in that state or area, or just because, the schools are small and, folks might be kind of unaware of some of the issues that face LGBTQ people, particularly in STEM. And of course, at these universities, there are a lot of LGBTQ organizations already there, but we believe we bring a pretty unique offering, and while we also provide a support and social network for students, we're specifically focused on STEM fields and supporting and celebrating these LGBTQ people in STEM and helping them advance in their career from a professional standpoint. More recently, we've seen really that oSTEM has been pretty integral to so many of our members in finding kind of their career, finding themselves while they've been in school. College is a time of self-discovery, I'm sure a lot of us could attest to. And so we're finding, as graduates are leaving school and going into the workplace, sometimes they find it to be less supportive, or they have a hard time starting over in a new city or finding a new network in kind of a new location. And so for some of these reasons, I think we saw an opportunity for oSTEM to kind of step in and meet this need. And so this is kind of a big reason that we have decided to expand to professional membership. And so this is we have developed 3 goals for the organization from the professional membership standpoint. The first is just kind of keeping this momentum and keeping students engaged, as I just mentioned, after they graduate, and keeping them involved in the organization. The second is to build a connection between the academic and the professional worlds, to help those students who are looking for jobs to get them, and help professionals who are looking for great talent that we know exists within the academic student chapters, help those professionals find that talent and connect kind of the two together. And then third, applying our strengths, the strengths that we've built as an organization. So this would include supporting people who are moving, to a new environment, to a new school, or now in this case, to a new city for a professional career. This would also include, supporting professionals in their careers and finding ways that they can improve their skills or find new jobs, or, just build a stronger network in the city that they're in. And so kind of how do we get a little bit of structure around this? We've been talking about doing professional membership for years, but I think, we've really been thinking about what is the right way to do this. And so I think at this point, what we've developed is a kind of a framework from which we can go forward. Our goal is to provide you the tools that you need to kind of build these chapters and to form successful groups in your cities. And so in the upcoming months, the goal is to pilot this. And so let me talk a little bit about, a little bit more about what the specific vision is for professional membership and how we think this is going to look. We've gotten a lot of feedback from conferences via email, through sponsors and through other means. We've also looked at a lot of other professional organizations that really have, quite a vast variety of offerings. And so trying to figure out what are the things that are important to you all as you consider professional membership. So kind of the core of it revolves around these four points that we have laid out here. First is that professional membership will be city-based, it'll be local. So the idea is that rather than based on an institution or a university, will be based more regionally. And this will allow people across big and small companies or organizations or institutions or whatever to all get together. If your town or your city is small, there's an opportunity for sub-chapters or some sort of smaller pieces of the organization in those geographies, while still having a connection to a larger community in your closest big city. The second point here is non-redundant. So kind of got at that already a little bit, but the idea being we're not trying to replicate an organization that's in an existing institution or in another city for that matter. The idea is we're building on the membership of the LGBTQ STEM community. We're building on the strengths of oSTEM and bringing this kind of unique mix of folks together within a city. Third, we expect this to be inclusive. I mean, essentially anybody, we're looking at alumni students, alumni professionals, those working in government, those working in even in academia, essentially pretty much everybody besides the students who already have their own organization, we would love to kind of join this group. And then finally, connected. So we expect, professional members to be connected in two ways. The first being to the global oSTEM organization through kind of the support network that we provide, whether it be the membership hub or conferences or, through financial support for chapters. The second would be through these local chapters. So we're creating these kind of networks for you to get connected to all the folks in your city. So this means this connectivity is through other people in your city, through events, through sponsorship, through other activities that may happen in your city. Okay, so I talked about this a little bit already, but what are the benefits of joining oSTEM as a professional member? Again, we've kind of bucketed this into two areas. The first is this greater global oSTEM network. And so this includes a number of resources and benefits, some of which are the online resources that we provide. Some of you may already be familiar with the online career portal, where students can post their resume and post their profile. Employers can post jobs. And so this is an opportunity for employers, sponsors, and students to kind of match up and see if there's a role that a particular student might be well suited for. We're also expecting to roll out the membership center, which I'll talk a little bit more about This is something that's been in the works, and this will be kind of a hub for students and chapters to connect with each other, as well as at this point for professionals and chapters to connect. Another great resource, which I'm sure you all know about, is the conference. So upcoming this year, we'll have our 8th annual conference. This has been growing every year, and we expect as professional membership and overall membership grows, there's also an opportunity for professional conferences and regional conferences as well that would be hosted by the global organization. Next, providing this connection between professional and academic chapters, as I noted. There's an opportunity for involvement with student chapters and learning from student chapters, as these chapters have been around for a while, and we're kind of getting into a mature stage of growth where we have a pretty good system of growing that side of the organization and addressing students' needs. And then finally, there's some additional benefits that the global organization can provide, which includes stuff like the newsletter, includes webinars, includes swag through the oSTEM store, and then we expect it to also include a number of new offerings that will be we will be growing for professional members specifically. Some of these things might include, as noted on the slide, discounts for professional events or other types of activities. And so we want to provide additional value for professional members as is expressed or as is voiced by you. Finally, kind of the city-based resources that are provided. Again, I talked about these briefly, but having this city-based network really will be a benefit. This allows you to kind of hold events in your city, to build a social network within your city, to kind of tap local sponsors, LGBTQ orgs, et cetera, to kind of plan larger organizations or larger events rather. And so really, I think this is kind of the tip of the iceberg. So we plan to keep growing and provide new offerings as we grow and as we build recognition and as we build membership. We'll be looking for kind of constant input and feedback from you all as on how we can continue to provide value to you, the members. And we're expecting this to be, transformational, not transactional. We don't want this to be just, another mailing list that you're on and just another newsletter that you receive. And we see this as, a lifelong opportunity for you to kind of continue to grow professional networks and connect, as you move potentially from one city to another. You can find a waiting support network for you there, and to kind of welcome you into the city, as well as to provide, professional development resources. So in short, hopefully this sounds interesting and valuable. And so this is kind of the high level idea of what we're going to be offering. So how do we make this a reality? Kind of what are the next steps? So there's kind of two aspects here. There's the professional membership as an individual, and there's the establishing of professional chapters. So I'll talk briefly about professional membership first. There's kind of a number of ways to get involved here. So the first, as I noted earlier, is the Career Center. So if you are not already registered on our website, go to the website, ostem.org. You can join the Career Center. And there's opportunities for as we grow for companies to post, etc. Second, and this is kind of one of the biggest benefits is the Member Center, and so this is going to be a unique social network for oSTEM members, both professional and academic. And so this will be coming very soon. This is a benefit of individual membership. So as such, this will be launched with a membership subscription. There'll be separate subscriptions for students and for professionals. For professionals, we expect this to be at a reduced rate in the first year as we're getting launched. We also expect for recent graduates, this will be free of charge for the first couple of years as you're getting kind of established in your professional career. But the idea being here is that we're providing some great value, and all this, all the professional membership funds that go into the organization will come back to all the chapters. And this really enables kind of all the resources that we'll provide. Third, city info sessions. So essentially, in order to get these professional chapters started, we want to pilot in a few specific cities as noted. And the best way to kind of identify the cities for this limited pilot is through your interest. And so, again, go to the website and you'll find a form for you to plug in your email address and your city. If you haven't already done so, please feel free to do that. Please feel free to share this with colleagues. And, when we kind of hit a critical mass for any given city, then, we can move forward on that particular city as kind of a launch for our pilot. Finally, there'll be more details about membership and what a professional chapter will look like and what the benefits will be within the forthcoming professional membership handbook. And so that'll be coming out pretty soon. Just keep an eye out for that as well. Okay, so how do you start a chapter? This is, we discussed what it looks like to be a professional member. How do you actually start a professional chapter? And so, again, it's a lot of the same steps we just talked about. So first, when it goes live, register for professional membership. Second, again, sign up by your city of interest at ostem.org. Third, we'll hold these interest meetings, as I noted. So as we start to pilot, professional membership in these various cities, we look to hold interest meetings. Again, which will coordinate through through the submission form that you all have expressed interest. And hopefully we can find a physical location so that everybody can meet in person. And from there, we expect the next step will essentially be to elect a leadership team, develop a chapter charter, bylaws, budget, very similar to the way a student team would or a student chapter would do that. And so then once leadership is established and the charter and everything have been developed, you can apply to form a formal chapter at ostem.org. This, again, is not yet live, but this will be hopefully happening in the next couple of months. And then once recognized, the Global oSTEM organization will provide logo, welcome materials, and essentially continued support and check-in going forward. So once the chapter is formed, how do I maintain the chapter? So again, a lot of the same stuff. Maintain your individual active membership. We expect you to hold annual elections. Submit budget and updates to the global organization in return for kind of support again from the global organization. Solicit sponsors for your local chapter. Again, as I noted, we'll return the funding to you that comes in through professional membership subscriptions, but we expect that you can tap the organizations that you're a member of or you're employee of, and hopefully they can provide additional sponsorship to enable your chapters to be really successful and have a strong presence in your cities. And then again, some of the typical things, hold regular meetings and events in your city and make sure that those things are publicized, both in your city through the typical networks there, as well as through our global oSTEM network. And then finally, get involved with the local student-based chapters. Form those networks with the local chapters, which of course the global oSTEM organization will facilitate that and provide you those connections so that you can provide mentorship, you can provide opportunities for recruiting, etc. Okay, so in closing, kind of next steps, just to kind of rehash, sign up for all the things, do it at ostem.org, build interest in your community, tell your friends, tell your colleagues about this, tell them to come to the website and submit, create an account on ostem.org if you haven't already, add us on Twitter, add us on Facebook, sign up for our mailing list, etc. And then keep watching for more. We hope that we're providing you a framework here to get started, but we really want to give you the opportunity to grow the oSTEM community in your city. And, what better way than for you all who know your cities best and know your network, your groups of people there best, what better way than for you to do that? So I think this will be a big year. I'm excited to start piloting professional chapters in the next few months. Please feel free to contact me or the membership team with any questions or ideas going forward as we kind of start this a new initiative. And again, please, sign up. That's pretty much it for tonight. And I'm happy to take any questions at this point if you want to submit them in the chat bar. All right, I'm going to assume I just did such a great job of explaining our path forward. I'll see someone typing here. Just to reiterate, this recording will be posted on our oSTEM On Air YouTube channel. So feel free to share this with any of your colleagues, or rewatch it yourselves if you really enjoyed it or have any questions. Yeah, that's a great question. How should we build interest in our local communities? I think the first places I would look would just be your existing network that you have. If you are part of any current LGBT organizations, either at your place of work or within the city. If not, maybe do a little Googling to see what exists in the city. I think that this is something that we also intend to help with, particularly as cities are getting or chapters are getting launched in these kind of pilot cities. We're hoping to help you reach out into kind of these to the organizations within these first few cities to tap kind of their networks and publicize. I see a little bit more typing going on here. Yeah, great question. Will membership be free at the beginning? So as noted, we are moving to kind of a subscription system in order to support kind of all the resources that we will be providing. And so this includes, I believe this will include to some degree conference access, access to the membership center, a lot of other resources. And so in that first year for professional members, once we have kind of everything up and running, I believe what we're looking at is $100 a year. And we will be building to a full price of $150 a year following that. These numbers were arrived at based on some budgeting and forecasting, as well as comparing to other similar professional organizations that provide some of the same types of resources. And again, this will also be free for the first couple of years for any students that are graduating and joining the professional membership. Is there a way for oSTEM to provide first initial chapters with emails for people from your city who have been to things? So I think one way we're looking to connect everybody up within a city that's interested is through, before the actual membership center launches, I will be launching city-based groups within LinkedIn, and we'll ask folks to join those. I will invite you all via your provided emails, and we'll again ask people to kind of feel free to invite appropriate people from your own networks. into that. Okay, it looks like there's a question about a lab chapter versus a city chapter. And so I think what I would suggest in this case would be kind of like that sub chapter in the event that you're pretty far from a major city. And so I think, the goal here is to have kind of an inclusive structure so that other folks in your town or city can get involved, and we're again not replicating an existing organization that a lot of workplaces may already have. However, it may make sense for you to kind of form this local hub within your company or within your area, but we also want you to be able to take advantage of that larger city network that might have higher membership, that might have more resources to put on events and workshops and whatnot. So this is a big part of why we want to have this city base, so that you're kind of connected to these cities, connected to these larger pools of people. And clarifying, yes, so students who graduate will pay a student membership rate as compared to a professional rate. Also, to Cortland's point, yeah, we absolutely encourage people to attend interest events. First, we expect this to be an opportunity for you to learn more about the organization, and before joining the member center and everything else. Sure, I can make these PowerPoint slides available. And again, the slides should be available as part of the recording that we will be posting. So there's a question on how pilot cities would be chosen. So, of course, we're not going to stop anybody from forming a chapter by any means. But the goal was to support, specifically, at least at the beginning, to provide additional support to the cities that have the highest amount of interest through the submission form that's on ostem.org. So there, again, if you go to ostem.org and start a chapter, you'll see under the professional chapters section, there's a interest link. And so, based again on, excuse me, on, cities that have the highest amount of interest, we'll target those cities first with kind of any of our marketing and outreach efforts, and work to kind of build a chapter there where we know that there is a significant amount of interest. Well, we're absolutely also willing to support any other cities that folks want to get things moving, get things up and running in, for sure. I think again the goal here is to provide a couple of test pilot cities to kind of test things out, and once we've kind of ironed out all of the kinks, it'll be easier to kind of scale to additional cities. Absolutely. All right, are there any other questions that I can answer? Feel free to put any additional questions in the chat bar, or you're welcome to email me as well, michael.denoya@ostem.org. Or you can also email membership@ostem.org. One more question coming in. Yes, absolutely. If you have any questions about how to get a hold of us, Go to the website. It's all there. Great question. Is there a minimum number of leadership positions that would need to be filled before applying for membership, or I guess establishing a chapter for membership? We have not established that yet for professional chapters. At current, for student chapters, this is I believe 3 positions. I believe we have president, treasurer, and secretary might be the critical ones. I could be misspeaking on that, but I would expect something similar at the very least. We need a president and we need a treasurer to keep track of budgeting needs. I would imagine that there'll be some additional standard roles, which we've already outlined some of these, or some of the roles that we expect for professional chapters in the handbook. But again, this will be this is still in draft phase and will be distributed hopefully in a few weeks as we go. All right, well, again, I appreciate you all joining. I appreciate your questions and your interest. As I said, please sign up at ostem.org for more information. Please share with your colleagues, and hopefully we can continue to build interest and get a few cities piloted very soon. As I said, feel free to contact me with any additional questions, and look out for more information soon. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a great evening.